welcome back to my channel. My name is Justina, and here I like to make, create, and inspire fun art things with you through my DIYs. As you see by the title, I have another blast from the past videos for you, and this is all about my Valentine's fake sweets. These were really fun to make, and I really want to do more in the future. If you are new here, I hope you stick around by hitting that big subscribe button down below. If you aren't, welcome back, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. So with all that being said, let's just get into it and let's art today. For my first DIY, I want to make a bunch of cupcakes, so I have some of these cupcake liners from Dollar Tree. 10 come in a pack, and I thought that was such a great deal for $1.25. Next, to actually make the cupcakes itself, I do use this Gaps and Cracks Great Stuff foam that you just spray into the liner. Now, when I first did this, I sprayed way too much. You only need about 1/3 of the way filled to make the cupcake actually look like a cupcake. Here's how it looks halfway dried, and when I let it dry completely overnight, here's the final look. They turned out to be these little fat cupcakes, which I absolutely loved because they were really cute and unique. But like I said, I added way too much foam, and that's why they expanded as much as they did. But nonetheless, they are so adorable, and I'm going to turn them into cupcakes. To make the cupcake actually look like a cupcake, all I'm doing is taking an X-Acto knife and cutting off the excess foam that I do not need. I do leave a circular form in the center because that later will help hold up my frosting, but I am cutting out a little bit in the center all around, as you see here. It is really hard to explain exactly what I'm doing, but as you see here, that is what I cut off. I do continue doing this and for all 6 of my cupcakes. I don't know why there's 5 there. I do have 6 cupcakes, and 3 of them I want to start painting in this Java brown color that I have in my acrylic paints, so that 3 of them look like chocolate cupcakes and 3 of them look like vanilla cupcakes. After the paint had time to completely dry, it is now time to make the frosting for the cupcakes. I always like to use my Fast and Final lightweight spackling. I bought this at Lowe's. It was about $6 to $8, I can't remember, but it is a really big container. Now, I have shown you this a couple times. I like to put the spackling into a cup and then add some paint to the spackling to get the desired color that I'm going for. I was trying to go for a purple color for this cupcake, and like always, I like to add my frosting into a piping bag. It just helps me pipe on the frosting more realistically in doing that, but you can always use a Ziploc bag if you do not have piping bags as well. To give my cupcake a little bit more interest, I like to add 2 different colors to one piping bag so that I could have a swirl on my cupcake. Now, I like to add my frosting into the bag without me cutting a hole into it, just so I know that it will all fit. Then I do cut the hole so that the piping tip can go down on the bottom, and then I just keep pushing the spackling down until it reaches the piping tip. Then I am just going to pipe it like you would a regular cupcake. First, I like to go in this zigzag motion just so that I can fill up the hole that I made earlier, and then I will go around just like a regular cupcake so it looks like a frosted cupcake. I know I say cupcake a lot in this video, but I don't know what else to call it. Now that I'm done piping on the frosting, I like to add my sprinkles onto the wet spackling so that when it dries, it holds the sprinkles on. I love to use Dollar Tree's glass beads as my sprinkles because they come in different sizes and different shapes, and it really gives that unique sprinkle look on your fake cupcakes. I also did add a foam heart to the top of each one of my cupcakes because these are Valentine's Day sweets, so that's what I did to all of them. And then I do change it up with the colors of each cupcake. Since there are 6 cupcakes, 2 of them will be exactly the same. So I have 2 of this light pink and dark pink color. I have 2 of the purple and white color, and then I have 2 purple and pink cupcakes. They all are pretty much decorated the same, but just have different colors, and I put the sprinkles on differently on each one as well, but they all have a foam heart on the top to make it more Valentine's Day themed. Hey friends, I also wanted to let you guys know that I do have an Instagram and a Facebook page where I upload other photos and other videos there as well. If you would like to go follow me over there, I would deeply appreciate it. All of the links are down in the description box below. This is how my cupcakes turned out, and I absolutely love them. Like I mentioned before, I do want to make some more so that I can place them all around my house. But another great idea for these cupcakes is just adding a little hook in the center. And if you decorate a Christmas tree all year long, if you decorate one for Valentine's Day, these would make great ornaments for that Christmas tree. I would love for you to let me know what you think about these cupcakes down in the comment section below. For my next sweets, I want to make some marshmallows using these foam dice. All I did was take it out of the packaging and gave it each dice about 3 coats of pink acrylic paints. After they were completely dry, I wanted to make a little bit of a drizzle for the top, so I mixed up a mixture of Mod Podge and red acrylic paint, and now I'm just taking that and adding it to the top of the marshmallow. I first start in the middle of it, and then I start taking it on the outer edges, trying to make the drips look more realistic, so I'm adding a lot in one spot and letting it drip down naturally. I will continue doing that until the whole top of the marshmallow is covered and to my liking, and then I continue doing the same thing to the second marshmallow. After that had time to completely dry, it does still look really glossy and wet, but it is completely dry. That is because the Mod Podge had this gloss finish on it to help the acrylic paint look like it was still wet, and it actually looks like a real drizzle. So if you want to try this out, I definitely suggest doing that method. Now, I wanted to give each one of my marshmallows faces on 2 of the sides, so that is what I'm doing now. I am taking some black acrylic paint on the back of a paintbrush and just dipping it into the paint and then dotting it onto the marshmallows to make the eyes as symmetrical as possible. And then I'm taking a black Posca paint marker and drawing on the smiles. When the black acrylic paint eyes had time to dry, I did the same exact thing with the highlighted areas, which all I did was take a smaller paintbrush, dipped it in some white acrylic paint, and then placed it right on top of the eye. After my little marshmallows faces had time to dry, I did want to add some whipped cream on the top of them. Once again, I used my Fast and Final lightweight spackling for this. I put a very little in a piping bag, and I'm just gonna pipe on a little swirl at the top of the marshmallow. Then I will add a red foam ball to the top of the whipped cream to act as my cherry. Now, as I am piping on my whipped cream, friends, and you are new here and haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to do that today. All you have to do is click on that big red subscribe button down below, but make sure to click on the bell notification so that YouTube can always notify you when I upload a new video. And I would love for you to be part of my virtual art family. These marshmallows are the cutest thing that I think I ever made on my channel. I absolutely love them. Now, like I mentioned, each marshmallow has 2 different faces on each side, as you see here, and I just think it's so adorable. You can't have a sweets video without some chocolate, so that's what I want to make, is some chocolate hearts. Now, to make them, I have this heart silicone mold that I've had for a while. I believe I bought it at Walmart, but I'm not really sure if that is correct. Next, I took a bunch of broken brown crayons that I have in my stash, and I broke them down even further and then added it to the heart mold. I make sure to try to fill it as much as possible because they will melt down and shrink. So the more you have in there, the better, but you can always fill it up more halfway through the process if you need to, depending on how large and thick you want your chocolate hearts to be. So I am just adding as much as possible. I do add it to my stove around 250, and I keep a close eye on it until they have completely melted. Now I did have to go back and add some, like I mentioned before, so you will see a little discoloration in some of them, but I don't mind because, like I said, these are fake sweets. And what I like about this project is after I'm done using them for display, I can give it to my kids and they can use them like regular crayons. I did let my crayons cool down completely before handling them. Now I wanted to add a little decorations on top of my chocolate hearts, so I found these fabric paints at Dollar Tree. I thought they were the perfect colors, so I'm starting to add them to my chocolate hearts. I take the red one and I fill up the little insert of the chocolate hearts, and now I'm taking the white puffy paint and adding a little swirl on top of it. After they had time to completely dry, I did move on to the next three. I added the pink puffy paint in the center, and then on top of the pink puffy paint, I added a white heart right on top. Let that completely dry, and that completes these little chocolate heart sweets. I think they would be so adorable if you would add them to one of those little heart chocolate containers and give it to your little ones, but make sure you tell them that these are crayons and not chocolates. For my next set of sweets, I wanted to make a little Valentine's Day smoothie with using some of Dollar Tree's caulk. Now I am taking some out and adding it to a bowl so that I can add some paint to it. I will use my Folk Art Home Decor chalk paint in the color Imperial, which is just a nice red color. I will mix it in with that caulk until everything is well incorporated. After my mixture was the way I like it, I am taking that big popsicle stick and I'm actually painting on the inside of this glass container that I just had on hand. Now I will make it as thick as possible and try to push it up against the glass so that it can adhere onto the inside, but leaving the center pretty much hollow. I did do a pattern of the red, white, pink, white, and then I did one in purple and pink as well. Now I needed something in the center to hold up my whipped cream, so I had some of these Christmas ornaments left over that fit perfectly into the center, and as you see here, I added 3 in there, and then the 4th one I did add a little bit of hot glue so that it wouldn't move around when I added in the whipped cream. Once again, for my whipped cream, I did use my lightweight spackling from Lowe's, and I did put it in a piping bag, and now I'm just piping it on top of my little glass smoothie here. But before I add it all the way up, I did take more of that red puffy paint that I purchased from Dollar Tree and adding it to the outer edges of the cup so it looks like the little drizzle was dripping down the glass. Then once I got everything where I liked it, I then started filling up the rest of the whipped cream on top of the glass. Once again, I'm using that red puffy paint and giving it a little drizzle on top of my smoothie here. And then I will add one of those tinsel hearts from Dollar Tree and some Valentine's Day straws cut down, inserted it to the side along with some pearl beads. And look how these smoothies turned out. I absolutely love them and still have them to this day. The next sweets I wanted to make was some lollipops. So Dollar Tree has these circular foams in their floral section that I thought would be a perfect size for my lollipops. As you see here, I'm just pushing a dowel into the center so that can be my lollipop stick. And then next I wanted to paint the foam in this light pink color in my folk art home decor chalk paint, so that when I add on the details you won't be able to see the white foam in the background. Now I wanted my lollipops to have a drizzle, so I took a white Posca paint marker and outlined where I needed to put the drizzle, so that when I started adding these little push pins from Dollar Tree, I know exactly how far up I needed to go. Now that is the direction I'm going with these lollipops. I wanted these push pins to actually be the lollipops. It reminded me of candy, so that's why I went with these. Now I first started just to push them into the foam, thinking that they would stay, which they did, but then I started overthinking it and I started adding some hot glue and pushing it through the hot glue, but that wasn't necessary because they held up pretty nicely with just pushing it into the foam. And I will continue this until the bottom half of my lollipop is completely filled. To give my lollipop a little bit more detail, I had this beaded sticker from Dollar Tree, and I'm just adding it to the sides of my lollipop, not going completely all the way to the top of the lollipop, because that is where I'm going to add my whipped cream. Once again, to make my whipped cream, I am using my Fast and Final lightweight spackling. I added it to a piping bag, and as you see here, I'm just going to start piping it onto my lollipop. I do go back and forth with it, giving it this little zigzag motion so that it adds a little bit more detail and give it a nice cutesy look. Once that was done in the front, I then added the same spackling on top of my lollipop. Before the lollipop had time to completely dry, I did set it into a cup so that it can hold it upright while I add my beads on top of it. I like to use Dollar Tree's glass beads for my little sprinkles, and I also use some of Dollar Tree's just regular beads that were in the shape of hearts to my second lollipop, along with some pearl beads just to give it a little bit more glam, and I absolutely love how they turned out. That completes all of the sweets, and here are all of the sweets that I made in today's video, displayed on this little kissing booth that I had made in the past. I really had a blast making these, and I really want to make more in the future. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit up that thumbs up button. It really does help out my channel. And if you liked today's video, don't forget to mention down in the comments below which one was your favorite of the day. If you are new here, I hope you stick around by hitting that big subscribe button down below. But don't forget to hit up the bell notification so that YouTube can always notify you when I upload a new video. Plus, I would love for you to be part of my virtual art family. I hope everybody has an awesome day. Thank you for joining me, and as always, I will see you in the next one.